Hello and welcome to the Official Watches YouTube channel. Today I am delighted to say we have a really special Daytona here. Now we're no stranger to a special Daytona at Jardin du Mayfair. If you've seen our videos you'll know that, but this is none other than the 6265 in yellow gold with the black dial, and it's absolutely stunning. Guys, just a very quick note to say, please do hit the subscribe button. If you subscribe, I will keep these videos coming fresh and hot every week. It's cold, it's dark outside, so we're going to take a look at a slice of Rolex history. It's in yellow gold, which will warm things up a little. This is a Chronograph Daytona, reference 6265, which was produced in 1985. And at a close to 40 years old, it's not doing too badly. It's the 18 karat gold version, which edges its value-wise against the 14 karat twin. And it has the hallmark stamped into the caseback, along with some historical servicing signatures. Rolex made this model in steel and both 18 and 14 karat gold, as the American market had a preference for 14 karat. Although the Daytona, in any of its references, is now Rolex's most sought after model, with waiting lists for current variants spanning into the decades and prices soaring way above retail, in its formative years it was not a popular beast. In fact, it was decidedly unpopular. Through the 50s and into the 60s, Rolex was producing Submariners, Explorers and GMT Masters as part of its professional ranges, along with Datejusts and day dates. These were watches with a clear purpose, whether that was diving, travelling or simply robust daily wearers. Now in that period, the chronograph was a bit of an oddity because it hadn't really found its place either in the market or in buyers' hearts. Now rumour has it that dealers occasionally resorted to giving these pieces away. They were gifts for heavy spenders because such was the desire to move the stock that was sitting unloved in the windows. Believe it or not, if you bought a few other precious metal pieces, you could have this 6265 for free. How mad is that? Oh, how the times have changed. After Omega beat Rolex at the space race with the venerable Speedmaster, Rolex shifted its focus to motor racing on the tracks of Daytona Beach, Speedway and NASCAR. And the Chronograph Daytona's place in timing it in 1963, the Daytona was born. The model went through some changes in the intervening years, and this particular reference is one of the last of the 4-digit generation. If you're interested in seeing more of these, do check out our 6262 Paul Newman video after this. The 6265 was produced between 1971 and 1988 and has become of significant interest to collectors because although it's a pure vintage Daytona, it has all of the bells and whistles that were developed for the model since Rolex started its evolution. It benefits from a larger trip-lock crown and screw-down pushers, as opposed to the pump pushers and twin-lock crowns of previous generations. The 6265 and the 6263 brother are often referred to as Oyster due to the increased water resistance, which went from 50 metres to 100 metres thanks to the upgrades. Point of note, although I don't assume water resistance on any vintage watches, safest bet is to not get them wet unless they've been pressure tested and you're very confident. Otherwise, it could be an extremely expensive learning curve. The 6265 and 6263 are also the last in line of the manually wound models, as the whole range was revamped and modernised in 1988, when it was given a larger 40mm case, an automatic movement and a sapphire glass. This one is a 37.5mm plexiglass ticker, which runs on a modified Valjoux 72, that's a Rolex Caliber 727 movement. This has been fine-tuned to chronometer specifications. Its case is in excellent condition for an elderly gold piece, with plenty of metal on the lugs and correct rivet bracelet. The dial on the gold 6265s have a little quirk in that Daytona is nowhere to be found Instead, Cosmograph adorns the dial just above the lower subdial. This is because the mainline text beneath the applied crown features Rolex Oyster Superlative Chronometer officially certified, instead of the Rolex Oyster Cosmograph of the steel variants, which have Daytona written over the lower subdial. Now, while some may view the extra text as clutter, that reduces the toolish simplicity of the old references. I think it's wise to bear in mind that these 18-carat pieces were certainly the luxury editions of such a watch, so they can be excused for having an additional layer of glitz and gilt on the dial. There's a lot to be said for modern watches. They're robust, they sit at their technical peaks, and they fit perfectly in today's world. But sometimes you want to enjoy the old world. Now, I think that's part of the allure of the vintage pieces. They're a nod to nostalgia and to simpler times where people used their watches and loved them, rather than storing them away in case a mark decreased investment value. Either way, no longer the one that nobody wants, the vintage Daytona has achieved a cult following that it never saw in its early days, and it deserves it. Guys, I hope you've really enjoyed this 6265 yellow gold with riveted bracelet. What a special watch. I'm so proud to have this at Jardin du May Fair. Our library is growing. Please do check out the playlists because you'll find that there's a lot of vintage pieces now. We've got the Tropical 6263, we've got the 6262 Paul Newman, and now the 6265 in our ever-growing library. So, from Jardin du May Fair, heaven on earth for the watch enthusiast, thank you for joining me today. Please hit subscribe and I'll keep these videos coming every week.